Hi, this is Rick Bice with Bice Fit Exercises on behalf of Edmonds Park and Recreation. Today we're going to go through a circuit training class. What we'll do is we'll alternate between strength training exercises for the muscles, bones, and connective tissues, and then cardiovascular exercise for the heart, lungs, and circulatory system. What we'll do, it's all timed, so what we'll do is we'll do a minute on an exercise. We'll take a 30-second break. We'll do another minute on the same exercise or something very similar, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. So I'll call all those out as they happen. What you'll need for this exercise program today is a chair over here, maybe some light to medium dumbbells, and some resistance tubing or band. Maybe light or medium, whatever you have on that. With or without handles, doesn't matter on that. We will begin with a warm-up. We will go through the exercises, then we'll finish off with a cool down and then some stretches at the end. This is all at your own pace, so we strive for a minute's worth of work. If you need to take your breaks, quicker than that, or if by the end of the minute you're not tired or fatigued, you could just go straight through that break that we have. So it's all up to you, the kind of resistance you use, whatever works for your body. Make sure your surrounding area is clear, that you've got room to move around, arm's width sort of stuff at least. You have a proper footwear for the floor that you have. If you've got slippery hardwoods, make sure that you're wearing good shoes that aren't going to slip and slide. If you've got thick carpet, making sure that your feet aren't going to get, isn't going to get caught on the carpet or something and trip you up. So just being careful. All right, let's begin. Okay, let's begin with our warm-up. So find a nice spot. Make sure you've got a good arm's width all the way around you if you can, for movement. For our warm-ups and our cardios that are going to come up later on, you want a nice chunk of space to move around. Make sure nothing to bump into or trip over. Dumbbells are put away, coffee tables out of the way, etc. Making sure that, if you've got rugs or carpets, nothing to trip over. Have some water handy, water bottle or something. So this is warm up. We're going to go for about 2 minutes. We got about a minute and 20 left. You can do what I'm doing or something else, whatever gets your body warmed up. We're just looking to grease up the joints, get some blood flow throughout the body, get the heart and the lungs pumping a little higher. Just barely breaking a sweat, nothing big. Nice and easy. If you've got, a treadmill or a rowing machine or some stairs to walk up and down, again, whatever works for you. And you might be going faster or slower than I am. Grab some music, something to get some good sounds for you. All right. Switching to a bicep curl and a knee curl. We got about 30 seconds left. Again, pretty easy. We're not actively trying to get the heart rate or breathing elevated a lot. Get some oxygen to the muscles. About 12 seconds. A little bit of a march here with shoulder press. All right, nice job. Okay, first thing we're going to do is a push-up, a doorway push-up against the wall. So you're going to need to go find a doorway for this next session. Okay, we are looking at a doorway push-up. So instead of a wall push-up, using a doorway, that way your head and your upper body is able to go through the wall, basically, in the doorway. As opposed to bumping into the wall when you're doing push-ups. Here we've got your typical 30-inch doorway for closets, bathrooms, bedrooms, that sort of stuff. 36-inch can work, just all depends on how wide your shoulders are, how long your arms are. But if you can do the 30-inch doorways, if you have one of those, works a little bit better. So standing a little bit ways back from it, you're going to start with your arms straight at about chest height, kind of lower chest, and you're going to allow yourself to fall in and then push back. So we got a minute of this. Fall in as far as you can comfortably. Drop those hands a little bit more. Keeping your core and your abdominal muscles nice and tight, as straight as you can. It's okay for your heels to come up off the ground. Allow yourself to fall in as far as you can and then push out. So this is a little easier way to do a push-up. Instead of doing it on counters or on your couches or on the floor, you're not putting as much body weight on your hands and arms. So a lot more body weight is on the feet. This is going to help out a little better here. There we go. All right, take a break there. So a little bit tougher on the wrists because your hands are like this and your wrists are bent. So if you're having wrist issues, what you can do is try a fist and come in. A little tougher to go in as far with the fist. What you can do, take a washcloth or something rolled up and pin your body weight against it so that you can do these and keep the wrist straighter and more neutral without having something so hard that your knuckles are placed against. That's kind of one of the only downsides of this one. Being on a doorway or a wall is that your wrists are normally like this and it's a little tougher. All right, let's try second set here. So again, you don't want your hands too high because then you end up doing this, which is external rotation of the shoulders. We want forward and back, straight forward and back. So make sure those hands are low on the lower part of the chest, below armpits. And depending on where you're standing, if you're standing out further, it's harder to do. So again, this is going to be an easier exercise because you won't be able to put as much weight on your hands. You will not be able to stand back too far because we still want the hands coming right to the armpits and not doing this sort of thing, okay? Here we're working chest muscles, the pectorals. You're getting front deltoid in the front of the shoulder, and then you're also getting triceps in the back of the upper arm, along with core and torso and spinal muscles. All right, nice job. Let's move on to the next exercise. Okay, all right. On to the next one here. We've got a squat with a march. So if you like, you can hold on to something or have something handy to, for balance if you need to. Otherwise, just do a freestanding squat. So what we're going to do here, squat, we're going to start with our feet about hip width apart, shoulder to hip width apart. And we're going to sink down, sitting down as if we're going to sit down on a chair, bending the knees, sticking the rear out. Okay, head and chest are going to face forward. How low you go is up to you. Parallel to the floor with the thighs is about as deep as you'd go. I'm going to go a little more shallow here. So a squat and then up to a march. Okay, replace the foot, squat, and march. How high you march is up to you. And then replace that foot on the ground. Again, hip to shoulder width apart. You're going to keep your weight on your arches and your heels more. Really sticking the rump out. Chest, we're going to hinge forward from the waist, putting that weight above the front of ourselves here in front. Just counterbalancing ourselves. That way you don't fall backwards. And again, how low you go is up to you. Nice and controlled. Keep breathing. We've got about 15 seconds. All right, take a break there. Nice job. So we're getting in our squat, our thigh muscles, the quadriceps, and then our glutes in the rear. We're getting some hip flexor in the front of the hip with that knee up, that march. So again, hold on to something if you need to for balance. If you want a little more work, and balance, of course, just do this freestanding. You can put a chair behind you to kind of catch you so that you just barely touch, and then you know how far you've got to go down. So if you want something to catch you, just in case you go down too low or lose your balance, a chair could be available. All right, let's try it again. I'm going to do a little more front or this side. So down and then up. Nice and controlled. Again, I'm a little more shallow on the squats with the way my knees are treating me at the moment. You can get down a little lower if you want, or more shallow if you need to, depending on how your joints are. But if you can get down, you know, to where the knees are about 90 degrees or so bent, that's kind of what we're looking for. And you can speed this up or slow it down faster or slower than what I'm doing. About 15 seconds. Remember to breathe, good posture, head and chest facing forward, not looking down or having the chest face the ground. All right, nice job there. Okay, so we'll need your chair here, and you're going to need some tubing. If you have handles, great. If not, no worries. All right, so taking a seat on your chair. And what we're going to do is we're going to loop the band, the middle part of the band, around our feet. Okay. So sitting on the front part of the chair, try to keep it fairly even. And what we're going to do is just pull back this way. So keeping even on both sides, keep those legs straight, and pull them back. Let me get back a little further. See my feet here. I've just got it looped around kind of the arches. And then I can go a little wider with the feet to kind of take up some more band. That way there's more pull for my back to do. Elbows are going back. I'm squeezing the shoulder blades together as those hands get to the bottom of the ribs. Palms are facing in towards me. And I'm just sitting on the chair. Legs are straight or fairly straight. Heels are on the ground. And I want to make sure that this band isn't going to pop up over one or both feet. So keep it anchored really well. And then take a break there. Remember to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Back a little further here. So squeezing those shoulder blades together. And again, you can do this without a band too. You know, if you don't have handles. I'm sorry, not without a band, without handles. So same sort of thing. If I'm grabbing a little deeper, makes it a little tougher without using those handles because I got more pull on this band. There you go. Get it just the right spot. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to do a little tougher this time without the handles because now there's a little more pull on the band. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. I'm going to have to use my ankle muscles to keep my feet out. A lot easier if you got shoes on. If you're trying to do this barefoot, it may not feel as great. And I'm using my ankle muscles, everting my ankles, meaning that I'm trying to bring the bottoms of my feet outwards. So I've got to hold that position because this band continuously wants to pull my ankles, my feet in to where the bottoms of my feet would be, facing each other. And I don't want the band to do that. About 8 more seconds. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Good posture, breathing. All right, nice job there. Okay, so we can get rid of your band, get rid of your chair. We've got our first cardiovascular. All right, so nice and easy, just like what we did with the warm-up. Same sort of thing. We're just gonna Start off about the same speed and then build up a little more pace as we get into it. We got a transition of about 30 seconds. We got about 13 seconds left, so you can grab a sip of water, clean up your space, get ready, catch your breath, or jump right into it as soon as we get done with that last exercise. All right, we're officially on the clock for cardiovascular. 2 minutes and 22 seconds left. Again, you can do what I'm doing or something else. Throw some music on. If you've got aerobic dance classes you've done before, or ballroom dancing, whatever, any kind of movements that work for you that you can do consistently in order to get your heart rate elevated. Nice and easy. Just doing a little bit of a toe tap and a cross punch across the body. And start speeding things up. Again, you can go faster or slower than I am. It all depends on what gets you working. Think about the talk test. If you can actively talk out loud and you're not out of breath, you can be understood, then you're probably okay. You're probably not working too hard. If you're so out of breath that you can't talk, then you're probably doing things a little too fast, a little too hard. You need to slow things down. Remember to maintain good posture. We are actively trying to get the heart rate elevated and the breathing elevated. We want to work ourselves. So whatever that means for you. You can jump rope, jumping jacks and calisthenics. Again, if you've got an elliptical trainer or machine that you want to get on, or an aerobic step you want to incorporate, it's up to you. Martial arts moves. Do a little bit of heel tap with the front punch. As long as it's consistent, that's what we're looking for. The intensity, that's all up to you. But again, use that talk test. That'll put you at around the 70% mark for your heart rate, 70% of your maximum heart rate. About 27 seconds. All right, some bicep curls and knee curls. Get these guys ready for later on here. Nice and easy. Okay, keep moving. All right, next exercise, we've got the bent over tricep kickback and hamstring curl. So grab some dumbbells. We use the smaller ones here today. So first of all, to get in the position for this, feet are about hip width apart. We're going to hinge forward from the waist. Bring our elbows back and tuck them to our sides, to our ribs. Elbows bent. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades together and holding this pose. Once you're in this pose, then we can straighten the elbows and let them bend. Straighten and let them bend. And you can do singles or doubles, it's up to you. So this is the tricep kickback, working the tricep muscle in the back of the upper arm. Nothing else moving but the elbow. Okay? And again, singles or doubles, doesn't matter. What we can do is we can add the hamstring curl in. So again, keeping that same pose. Now we're going to bend the knee, one knee at a time. I'm shifting weight from side to side. Again, just the elbow moving, not the shoulders, not the hips. Trying to keep in that same position for the tricep work. And then I'm just shifting weight side to side as I bend my knee, working the hamstring, the back of the thigh. You can put this together if you're feeling coordinated with it. Especially easier if you're doing the singles with the arm. If you're trying to do both arms at the same time, sometimes you can get going a little too fast, get momentum involved. All right, take a break there. Get rid of your dumbbells and just kind of let your grip settle. So nice and easy, working the tricep with this. Low back having to stabilize and do a little work to hold you. Upper back having to hold that position too, because again, we want to isolate just elbows moving against gravity. So we need to be bent over a little bit And we're just hinging forward. That back's not rounded. It's going to be nice and straight. Chest and head facing the same direction. All right, let's try it again. So in position. Bend those knees a little bit. Keep those elbows tucked in. And get the arms going. And let's bring those legs online here. And you can piece this out too if putting it all together is a little, more work than what you're looking for. With your coordination and balance especially, or you find you're not quite getting the form right, then just shift to doing either or, just the arms or just the legs. Again, consistent movement, but not too fast. I find myself having to actively slow down sometimes. Keep breathing. About 5 seconds. All right. Nice job. Nice one on those triceps there. All right, supine pelvic tilt with straight leg raise. So we'll need your mat next. This one is on your back on the ground. All right. So laying down. All right, so pelvic tilt first. What we're looking to do, let's get this mic set. Pelvic tilt, so slight curvature of that low spine. We want to rotate the pelvis forward, pushing your low back into the ground. Squishing the low back into the ground, flexing and bracing the abdominal muscles here. So hips are going to stay on the ground. This is all from the abdominals and the hips. And then I can relax. Rotate and hold. Really pushing that spine into the ground. Belly button to spine. Tensing this up. All right. So now what we're going to do, give yourself a nice bit of room. So I'm going to straighten one leg. Keep the other leg bent. I'm going to tilt. And now I'm going to, with the straight leg, raise it up and down. So toes are pointed up and down. Not letting that leg roll out at all. And I'm just going to raise it to about the height of the other knee, keeping that pelvic tilt. Slow and controlled. There we go. Take a break there. I'll do the other side. I'll keep working. So remember, the biggest thing is holding the tilt. If you find that you're losing that tilt, especially when this leg gets down closer to the ground, if you find that that tilt's starting to pop up, then that's where you stop. You don't lower that leg all the way to the floor. So adjust your range of motion. Again, if you can't hold that tilt. And also how many times you do it. Maybe you do it one, time, and then you reset that tilt. Or maybe you're doing this 5 or 10 times per leg. If you can hold that tilt. We're just trying to make the pelvic tilt more difficult to hold. I'll take a break. And you can do either leg, just one leg at a time though. If you find you have incredible abdominals, you may be able to do both legs at the same time. As long as you can hold that tilt, that low back is flat against the ground the whole time. There you go. Keep going. Nice and controlled. The faster you go, momentum will start to try to lift that low back up when that leg gets down to the ground. So again, nice and controlled. We're working the hip flexor muscle in the thigh. In the hip. We're also getting the thigh muscles because you're straightening that knee and flexing that thigh muscle in the leg. All right, nice job. And then of course, abdominal muscles, low back, hip, everything having to stabilize. All right, nice job with that. Okay, so what do we have next? We've got bicep curl to shoulder press. So get rid of your mat. You'll need your dumbbells for this one. All right. So standing up, good posture, dumbbell in each hand. Nice firm grip, dry hands. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bicep curl first. So bending those elbows all the way up, and then nice and slow returning them to my sides. And I can let the forearms rotate in and out as I do this. Okay, so this is the bicep curl, bracing the abdominal muscles, nothing moving but elbows. Hips are steady, only elbows. So now shoulder press, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bicep curl, and then I'm going to move up to a shoulder press. So letting those forearms rotate to where they finish, palms facing forward, and then back down into the top bicep, and then back down straight with the elbows. And again, I can let these rotate in, or I can keep the palms straight. So up and up, down and down, up and up, down and down. Nice and controlled. Working the shoulders and the bicep muscle. Only thing moving, elbows and shoulders. Forearms. Alright, take a break there. Nice job. You can set those dumbbells down if you want to. Get your grip to have a break there. So remember, palms are going to start forward. Again, you can let them rotate in if you want, or if you want to just let them straighten and still face forward, up to you. And then curl, rotate as you go all the way up, rotate as you come back down to the top, and then straighten those elbows for the bicep curl. All right, let's try it again. So in position, feet, give yourself a good stance, tighten those abdominals, bicep curl, shoulder press, back down and down. So up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. So remember, nice firm grip, dry hands. You don't want to dump these on your head accidentally. And slow and controlled so that we don't get any hip involved. We don't get any arms swinging. We don't want any kind of momentum. We want to isolate just what we're using. Keep breathing. Good posture. Head facing forward. 10 more seconds. One more here. All right, nice job, well done there. Okay, so get rid of your dumbbells. We've got a cardiovascular next. So you can start right away, or we've got about 25 seconds, 30 seconds here of transition. All right, go back to some of these guys to start. I'll start right up, but again, we got about 20 seconds before we, actually start the clock there. So nice and easy. Remember that talk test. Just consistent motion. All right. Officially started. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Start us off with a narrow march. For easier march, you can just march with the heels. Leave the toes on the ground. Less impact. Also less noisy if you got people under you. So it just kind of depends on what works for you. All right, I'm going to go to a wide march. So shoulder width or wider. Go for a nice wide stance. Just a small march here. And back narrow. Consistent motion. Just kind of pumping the arms along with this. And wide. And narrow. And wide. And narrow. Let's go back and forth here. Wide, narrow, wide, narrow, wide, narrow. Keep that up here. Keep your breathing. About 1 minute and 10 seconds. And back to narrow here. Keep moving. All right. Switch to side step here. Side tap. lead with the pinkies. Nice big arm circle in reverse here. Lead with the pinkies. There you go. Keep going. All right, let's switch to an uppercut. So a punch up and across your body. All right, about 15 seconds. Back to a march. Some front punches here. Keep the pace up. All right. Nice job. Well done. Got the heart rate going a little bit. Okay, so triple lunge is our next one. If you want, you can have a chair or a cane or something to kind of hold on to give you a little bit of stability and balance. So triple lunge, it's a lunge in 3 different directions on each leg. So I'll start with the right leg. First thing is what I'll do is kind of a diagonal front lunge. So as I do this, I'm going to shift, probably 60 to 80% of my weight onto this front leg. Let that bend. That back knee is going to bend a little bit. Heel can come up off the ground. I'm going to hinge forward and shift my weight over this foot. And I'll go down as far as I feel comfortable. And then step back to the middle. Now I'm going to go out to the side. Same sort of thing. Kind of sitting back and down. Keeping my weight over this foot. And then back to the middle. And then kind of a backwards one. Bend. Keep them, bend that knee. And then back to the front. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll keep it with just this leg, and then second minute I'll go to the other leg. How deep you go is up to you. Keeping most of your weight on that back leg or on the lunging leg. Nice big step. And let that back leg kind of move around. It doesn't have to stay, fully planted. And the heel can come off the ground, especially on this front diagonal. And that knee can bend a little bit. Remember to shift weight onto that lunging leg. And just kind of play around with your pattern. All right, take a break. So play around with your pattern. You can go front, side, back, or back, middle, front. You're just kind of playing around with what you're doing. You can go from a front to a back. Again, just kind of whatever works for you. And then what I'll do is I'll the second set, I'll do this all with my left leg. Same sort of thing, front to the side and then to the back. How deep you go is up to you. The deeper you go, the harder it's going to be. Let's start up here. So making sure that front knee, don't let that front knee go forward too far. You want that right above the, end of the shoelaces, between the shoelaces and the toes. Don't let that front knee or the lunging knee, don't let that go forward past the toes. And again, how deep you go is up to you, but keep most of your weight on that lunging knee. And then try to push yourself back to the middle too. Push yourself back to the middle. Don't let the right leg pull you. Use that outside lunging leg to push you back to the middle. About 10 seconds. All right, nice job, well done there. Okay, so let's see, grab your chair again and 1 dumbbell. So what we've got here is the seated lean back with the reverse wood chop. Okay, so on this one, what we're looking at is I'm going to sit on the front half of the chair so that I have room to lean backwards to let my abdominals do some work. I'm not sitting back against the back of the chair. And then what I'll do is I'm going to grab 1 dumbbell, 2 hands, and start opposite down at the hip, and then up to the shoulder. Okay, down to the hip, up to the shoulder. So it's a diagonal from hip to opposite shoulder as I'm leaning back. Okay, lean back as far as you feel comfortable. Try to keep your feet on the ground though. Don't lean back so far that the feet come off the ground. Unless you're really, trying to work harder. But you want to make sure you have the balance and the stability for that. And here we're just doing a reverse wood chop, working the reverse part here. Opposite hip to opposite shoulder. While you're leaning back, make sure to breathe. If you need to take a break, sit upright. And you can keep up with the wood chop or not. And then lean back again. Torso can get a slight rotation involved. And then, just going as far as those arms will let you. Down past the hip and then past the shoulder. All right, take a break there. And you can switch at any time, switch arms, or like what I'm going to do now on the second set, I'm going to start on the opposite side. Okay. Then whatever hand, usually the outside hand is going to be on top of the dumbbell. It just kind of depends on what's comfortable for you. How are you holding your dumbbell or your kettlebell or whatever you're using. But if it's a dumbbell, usually that top hand's a little easier than the bottom hand. It really doesn't matter much. It all depends on what's comfortable for you. All right, so leaning back, let's try it again. And across the body. Diagonal from hip to shoulder, both hands. And make sure to lean back a little bit at least, just to get those abdominals kicking in. Having to do more work. And of course, anytime we're working abdominals, we want to make sure we're breathing. Don't hold your breath at all. Think good posture. Your head really is just going to do whatever your chest is doing. And keep it comfortable. No pain or discomfort. Taking breaks as you need to. About 20 more seconds. Looking good there. You can keep breathing. How far you lean back is up to you. And of course the weight of your dumbbell or whatever you're using is going to work the shoulders, the chest. All right, nice job there. Okay, so one more exercise here we've got. So you can get rid of your chair and grab your resistance tubing. With or without a handle, either way. All right, so this one a little different. I want to kind of coin the Superman here. So think about the old Superman movies. Christopher Reeve, he flies, like this, one fist out, one fist down sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to work the chest and arm pushing and this other arm pulling. Okay. So what you want to do is probably grab a little bit and wrap around. Especially if you don't have handles, you might want to wrap both hands. But you want to start a little bit more in the middle here, so that what I'm going to do is I'm going to brace my abdominals, give myself a good stance, kind of a lunge stance, and then one arm is going to push out, straighten the elbow, and the other arm is going to pull back, okay, like I'm pulling back a bow and arrow. So at the same time here, pull. There you go. And it actually is probably going to work better without the handle. The handle is just too long and it doesn't give any kind of resistance. So I'll do here. Yeah, this is going to work much better. So pushing out. And again, one arm is pushing out till the elbow's straight. So we're getting some chest and tricep and deltoid. And the other arm is pulling back, getting some bicep. Take a break there. Getting some bicep and upper back and back of the shoulder. Okay, so side view. Again, we're kind of starting in the front here, so that at the same time, I'm getting one arm pushing out and one arm pulling. So head is going to look kind of forward over this shoulder. All right. So now what I'll do is I'll switch. And now I'm going to do the opposite side here. Okay. So now I'm pushing out with the opposite hand. All right, so let's get in position. And here we go. Let's start this right That's better. Yeah. So find whatever position works for you. And get a little bit more pull. Adjust that resistance until you get it just right. You want to get some resistance on both arms. And you don't want to go back with the elbow. We want to keep that hand close to the armpit, as if we're doing a rowing exercise. Both arms are going to move. How much they do and which one moves a little more or not, kind of just depends on your resistance and where you're grabbing and holding from. But just trying to get both those arms doing a little bit of work. Having that both fists point forward. There you go. Keep breathing. Think decent posture here. All right, nice job there. Well done. All right, so we've got our last cardiovascular, so you can get rid of your resistance tubing. Clean up your area, grab a sip of water if you want to, or you can get right on it. All right, let's get moving on. Kind of a cross toe tap behind, and I'm just pushing those straight arms back, and I'll have my palms face each other on this one. And we're officially going 2 minutes and 22 seconds, so our last cardio. Start ramping it up in the next 10-15 seconds. And I'm just hinged forward slightly from the waist, squeezing those shoulder blades together every time those arms go back. All right, let's go back to a regular narrow march, and let's do some scissors. So palms are faced up on this, elbows are bent, tucked in at my ribs, and I'm just rotating the shoulders. Hands are kind of going above and under each other. Nice and controlled. Make sure you do this with no resistance. Keep it going. All right. About 1 minute and 20 left. All right. Let's go some punches forward. And I'm going to keep a nice wide tap with the feet. Punching down a little bit more here. Down and across. And now back to the middle. About chest height. And up a little higher. Across the face. Keep those feet wide. About 45 seconds left. All right. Let's go back to some of these guys. So palms facing each other. We're going to hammer curl in along with our knee curls, working those hamstrings. All right, back to some regular marching and wide marches and narrow and wide and narrow. 10 seconds. Wide and narrow. Wide, narrow, wide, and narrow. All right, well, let's keep on marching. So we got to cool down. We're going to incorporate some balance with cool down here. So I'm going to stop the timer. Let's keep moving. Just for a good 30 seconds, just kind of keep moving aimlessly. We're actively trying to get the heart rate down. So it's the opposite of our warm-up. Our heart rate's up a little bit from this last cardio. We don't want to just take a seat and let the blood pool somewhere in the muscles. We want it pumping through the body, actively getting back to the brain more. So we want to keep moving, keep breathing at a good pace. We'd like to get that heart rate below 100 beats per minute. Is what we're shooting for. Grab the water, walk around, for a couple seconds. We're going to do some balancing while we're moving, so it'll we're still cooling down while we do that. All right. So grab your dumbbell. We're going to do a little tightrope walking with the dumbbell. So think about your tightrope. Could be as wide as your hips. So a nice wide, tightrope, easy to walk. Okay. Could be more narrow, like as wide as two of your feet put together. So that gets a little tougher to do, especially if you're going backwards. Be aware of your surroundings, how many steps you can take before you bonk into things. And then, of course, maybe your tightrope is as wide as 1 foot, and so it gets even tougher. Okay, so the width of your tightrope, and then also how close your steps are. If I'm taking a good sized step, not too hard. Okay, if I take a smaller step where I'm touching heel to toe together, now it gets even tougher. Okay, close one eye, close both eyes. Holding that dumbbell, especially if it's a heavier dumbbell, is gonna, it's gonna throw you off a little bit. Especially just one dumbbell. There you go. All right. Now what you can do is you can kind of pass this dumbbell back and forth between your hands. Be careful. All right. A little bit of that work here. Make sure you have the room. You're not going to punch the wall with your dumbbell. Nice and controlled. Excellent. Let's go one more round here. And let's go up and down. And remember how small that tightrope is and how small of a step you take is up to you. And if you're using a dumbbell or not is up to you. I want it to be a challenge, but I want it to be a safe challenge. One more on the way back. I'm just trying to use feeling here. Not looking at my feet. Moving the dumbbell at the same time. Coordination and balance. All right, let's get rid of the dumbbell. Nice job there. Okay, let's do a sleeping dog exercise here. Think about if you have small dogs that are asleep, maybe you've got 3 of them in a row. Or, maybe you've just got one because that's all the space you have. And you're stepping up and over and then up and over again. It all depends on your space. I've got enough space for about 3 or 4 dogs. So that's what I'm going to step over. Now, the larger those dogs are, the harder it's going to be. A little more balance. Instead of a Chihuahua, maybe you've got a large German Shepherd and having to step over without waking them up. Okay. Right, nice big steps. Controlled. All right, now we're going to pause a little bit. So I'm going to step and freeze. So I'm going to step, and now I got to freeze. Dog's about to wake up. Don't want to wake him up. Step over and freeze. And again, how big those dogs are up to you. Maybe it's a small dog. Step over and freeze. Okay. How long you freeze for is up to you also. I could freeze, pause for a second. Okay. Or I can pause for 3 seconds or 5 or 10 seconds. All up to you. Nice and easy. I'm going to go one more round back. And I'll freeze. And one more. So working the hips, working the balance and coordination. All right, nice job there. Let's do a little bit of toe walking and heel walking to finish this up. All right, so I'm walking on my toes here, forward and backward, or side to side, or maybe I'm in one spot, tick-tock back and forth. Okay, up to you what you want to do, but just try to stay on your toes nice and high. Working those calf muscles, working your balance and coordination. Now let's switch to heels. Okay, so now toes are in the air and working the heels. The shin muscles are getting some work, balance and coordination. Again, I can go forward or backwards or side to side, or I can tick-tock. Nice and easy. Controlled and safe. And especially if you've got carpets or rugs, pick those feet up. All right, let's do some stretches. Nice job there. So first stretch we're going to do, we're going to stretch out the back of the thigh and behind the knee and the rump, the calf. I'm going to squat down. I'm going to hinge forward, dig in the heel on this front leg that I'm just going to stretch. And I'm just going to lean forward and squat until I feel a stretch behind the knee, behind the thigh. I want my toe pointed forward. Leg is right in front of me. And I'm just going to take a seat nice and slow and give a good stretch behind the knee, behind the thigh. You might feel it on the calf. No jerking, no bouncing, nice and easy. Let's switch legs. Okay. This view here. So nice and easy. If you want less of calf, just let that toe, sink down to the floor more. If you want more calf involved, bring those toes up towards your face. Try not to let the toes and the leg roll out. Try to keep everything forward. Real gentle. Good 20 or 30 seconds is what we're trying for. Low back is straight. I'm not rounding out. I'm just hinging forward, head and chest forward, breathing the whole time. All right, nice job. So now what we're going to do is stretch here. I'm going to pelvic tilt. So I'm going to rotate the pelvis forward like we did with our pelvic tilts laying down. That low back is going to straighten and flatten out. I'm going to brace my abdominals. As I hold that position, I'm going to interlace my hands and fingers together, palms facing me, and then I'm going to push out as far as I can. So now I'm going to round out my upper and middle back. Head is going to look neutral. And I'm going to straighten those elbows and push my hands away from my body as far as I can, stretching out the back. My forearms are getting a little bit of a stretch here too, with the wrists that are bent. Keep breathing. All right, nice job here. Okay, last stretch here. Something for the chest and the front. We're going to bring our arms up here at a 90-degree angle. So 90 degrees between the elbow and the armpit. Okay, so 90 degrees both directions. And now I'm going to bring those arms backwards, squeezing my shoulder blades together. I'll let my chest stick out. I want to stretch my chest and the fronts of the shoulders. I'll bring my hands together behind my head or ears and really try to get those elbows back, squeezing my shoulder blades together towards my spine. I can let those hips come forward. Nice deep breathing. Let's straighten those elbows. Palms up and thumbs backwards. And again, reach open nice and wide. And now let's dip our fingers and wrists down and back. So we'll stretch out those forearms and wrists and palms. You can feel the stretch there. Keep breathing. All right. Just shake it all out. Nice job. All right. Excellent work today. Thanks for being here.